Hey guys, I am Twaun X and this is the Take Podcast. On today's show, I want to talk about out of control children, parenting problem or cultural calamity, and we will unpack a few cases, and the major topic of the day will be the stabbing in Frisco, Texas, for those of you who have not heard about it. Now, to begin, I want to start with a clip about three teens that actually attacked their mother for turning off the Wi-Fi. And here's that clip right here, guys.
Sisters are accused of chasing their mother out of their home with knives after hatching a plan to kill her because she turned off the Wi-Fi. This all happened really in West Harris County. The sisters ages 16, 15, and 14 tonight are locked up. Fortunately, their mother was not seriously hurt. KPRC2 reporter Corley Peel joins us now with the history the home has with law enforcement.
A home here inside the Barkers Crossing neighborhood is where the three teen sisters are accused of trying to kill their mother. Neighbors say they hear yelling and see deputies outside their home on a regular basis. One neighbor who asked to remain anonymous says she saw the scene overnight.
We came home from the rodeo like around 11 p.m. and we saw all of them outside on the driveway, so we kind of thought that was out of the ordinary.
The three teen sisters were mad their mom turned off the Wi-Fi. Deputies say they grabbed kitchen knives and chased their mom inside their house and into this street while trying to stab her. The mother was struck with a brick in the process. The grandmother was also knocked over as she tried to protect the mom. Fortunately, both of them are okay. Were you surprised to see police outside the house?
No, it's not the first or last time.
How often do you see police at the home?
We've been here over a year and it's already been probably more than 5 times.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office says this is the third time deputies have been called to that home since January. The other calls include a runaway child and a disturbance involving children who were fighting. Have you ever worried for your safety living across the street and hearing a lot of the commotion?
Yes, that's for sure. Yes, I don't even let my kids come outside because of them.
All three sisters are charged with aggravated assault and being held in the Harris County Juvenile Detention Center. In West Harris County, Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
Guys, do you see this? These little hell raisers, right? I mean, I don't even know how we got to this point, and I really want to start giving some theories of mine as I go through this discussion with you guys, because these little are out of control, guys. I mean, and at this point, I was wondering, like, is it a parenting problem or is it a culture problem? And okay, with this scenario right here, man, it actually appears like the parent was doing something. These are some little evil kids. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to put it as nicely as possible because, I mean, the Wi-Fi was off. They didn't give any context to whether could she not pay the bill? I mean, or did she cut it off as a punishment? And it sounds like these children have been a big problem the whole time. And she's probably done things, maybe taking the Wi-Fi, if it was one of them, to try to discipline them. And then she's a freaking attack. I can only imagine what would happen if she tried to take away their phones. They'd probably try to burn the damn house down while she inside sleeping, you know? That is crazy to me, man, these little hell raisers. And it made me think about it because there's so many kids that are out of control these days. A lot of people believe that you cannot discipline your kids. You can legally spank your kids. These little beings and demons need to get they rump roasted, as I've said before on my show. Stop letting them make it, man, because it really, before we even get more into the discussion of the subjects, it definitely starts at home first. With that, let's get into my next clip, which will actually be a article. And what interests me about this story, guys, was that they're saying that this lady gave a false report about her son pulling a gun on her. And I'll read it to you really quick as it is very short. A mother was arrested and charged for making up a fake report to Harris County constables that her son pulled a gun on her when she was trying to wake him up for school. Deputies with the Harris County Precinct 4 Constable's Office were called to a home at the 17,800 block of Alpine Brook Lane on Wednesday morning on a weapons call when a student was upset that he was awakened to go to school and flashed a handgun. But when deputy constables arrived at the home, they discovered that the person making the calls made several false claims to the emergency operator to get a faster response. Investigators said that no one displayed a gun during the altercation. Now, when I first read about this story, it was actually pretty interesting to me as I was considering a lot of things here. Obviously, this child was some type of problem. Maybe we can. I'm sure we can all agree on that. And then I want to give you my theory about how this may have played out. Right. So this child, the mother's doing her job, waking him up to go to school. He doesn't want to go. So he allegedly pulls out a gun. So she says. Now, whether that is true or not, the fact that, for me, what got me, guys, was the fact that this lady was so sick of this little motherfucker that she called the police and made up a story. She said, I don't know what's been going on, but it's been pushed her to the point where she don't even want to be bothered. And then they came out and they say, well, damn, they probably didn't look for a gun. They probably know this little hellraiser and heard about him and know he's trouble, but they don't want to be bothered with him either. So when they came out and they said, oh, well, there ain't no gun here. And she's like, okay, well, fuck it. Just take me then. Take me, old guy. Take me. Because as from what it says, it's not going to last with both of us being here at this point. This little kid is a problem. There is no way to discipline some of them after they get to a certain age. And I just, when I saw that story, I was like, well, damn, she called the police out and said, well, fuck it, man. If y'all not going to take him, take me instead, guys. And that really stood out to me with that story. Now, let's get to my next story, guys.
The DA's office now says a man killed in an apparent love triangle murder plot was actually not the intended target, despite what was written in court records. The family told ABC 13 last week that Marcos Cotto Torres was innocent when he was shot in his sleep at his apartment in the A-Leaf area. Investigators arrested Christopher Portillo Luna and Fernando Amaya. They say the 17-year-olds shot 84 rounds at the apartment with an AK-style rifle because Amaya thought his girlfriend was cheating on him with, quote, a male who he later murdered. Today, the DA's office corrected that, telling ABC 13 Torres was not the intended target and that it's believed an 18-year-old who lived with Torres was who the teens were actually going after.
Guys, it's a lot, right? So, you definitely see what's going on there. It's very unfortunate that we have this type of violence and activity that is plaguing our community. And I want to unpack some things here, because is it a parenting problem or a culture calamity? Now, a lot of this could be alleviated at the home. And one thing I have to consider whenever I speak about this, I think about my generation and those that are older. I believe that there is also a lack of moral fiber in the community. So that definitely is going to be on the culture side, and it also hits on the parenting side. A lot of stuff that's happening these days did not fly in my day. You know, even kids would get in trouble today. And it was different at the point back then. It's like, that school better not call me today, right? What that meant is that if that school called and your parents had to go up there, you was gonna get your butt whooped. You see what I'm saying? You was gonna get beat. You know what I'm saying? Not in a child abuse type of way, but you gonna get beat. You see what I'm saying? And then now today, the parents say the exact same thing. I bet not go up to the school, but they not going up there to discipline the kids. They going up there to try to discipline the teachers. You see what I'm saying? So I really want to boil down on that parenting thing. Now, you've seen from that story there, these guys, these teenagers, For one, how do they even have these AK-47s without their parents knowing? Let's start right there. Now, they went over there and tried, and because he was jealous of whatever of his girlfriend, he done killed somebody and killed the wrong guy. And then he got some bozo to go along with him and threw his life away also. You see what I'm saying now? So, I mean, there's a lot of guidance that is lacking here, and nobody wants to be told what to do. Nobody wants to listen to anything. They set. I believe in the combining of church and state at this point, because what I can honestly say is that I did a lot of wrong when I was younger and my recklessness and ignorance, but I honestly knew that I was doing wrong because I was kind of raised at that time in the schools here in America. We were raised with church in the state, church in school. You know, we knew the 10 Commandments and we knew all that. So a lot of stuff, I've always had a moral ruler to measure my actions along the way. And I knew when I was doing wrong. So by me even knowing that I was doing wrong, I knew that I was going to get right. Right. But I believe today they don't even know that they're doing wrong because there's no moral ruler. You can't say this in public. You can't do that. Nobody can believe in this. Well, I believe if you're not grounded in anything, then how can you grow straight? If you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. Right. And the parents are a big problem because they add fuel to the fire to this destructive behavior that's plaguing our community. They would not whoop their kids. They would not check them, address them. They actually go, and the people that even try to deal with the kids, they would actually attack those people in defense of the children and their devilish ways. Now, what I can say about the lady with the child before that, it appears that she's trying to do what needed to be done. I wouldn't necessarily put that into parenting, but it would fall into parenting more per se, because that child obviously needs some type of male figure to fear, because fear equates to respect. And I want to also talk about that too, for all of you that don't want to discipline your children. Look, you need to get them while they're young, right? And there's a theory that I go by with that. You think about the elephants in the circus. They can tie an elephant up, his leg up or whatever to the circus, to the whole tent or whatever. And you know that if he got mad, and this happens sometimes like when a mouse or rat or something comes through, that if he can take off and the whole house is going to come down. Now, why are elephants trained to not pull the tent down? It's because they start at an early age, right? Whenever the elephant is a small calf, they would tie him up, and there would be penalties for trying to pull it, which I don't believe that they could pull it anyway. They were so small, so that eventually they would stop trying. Right now, when it comes to your child, if your child is always constantly pulling and trying to get their way, they started there as they were born. That's why they cried. When they cried, that was a form of manipulation for you to feed them, to change their diapers and everything. So manipulation starts at an early age, guys. You see what I'm saying? I believe there are 6 types of manipulation. So you really got to understand the game here when you're dealing with your children. Just because you want to be loving, you're there to be their parent, not their friend, right? You're there to be their parent, and it's going to help them more in the end if you do this, because they're going to face consequences from society that you can't protect them from. And I see that so much these days. You have all these overly spoiled children that have this sense of self-entitlement, and that works for them in their fantasy world in their parents' home, who they continue to live with, because they usually don't have a job and don't want to do anything productive for later on in life. And they end up getting into trouble with the law because they feel like the rules don't apply to them, and their parents' money and affiliations cannot always save them. And you need to save yourself a lot of money and a lot of heartache by disciplining your child. Now, I want to get into the main subject of the day, which is going to be the stabbing in Frisco, Texas. It's very controversial. So I really want to show you guys this quick clip before I give my take on it. And here's that clip right here.
The teen accused of fatally stabbing his son at a high school track meet. Police are now revealing what led to the terrifying moment. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
New details about the killing of Austin Metcalf, the student stabbed at a high school track meet near Dallas. According to the arrest affidavit, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony has confessed to the killing, saying he was trying to protect himself.
He knew how much I loved him, how much I do for him, anything. I do anything for him.
Hunter Metcalf says he held his twin brother Austin as he was dying.
I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So.
It happened at the district championship meet in Frisco. Hunter says his brother had asked Karmelo to move his seat because he was sitting under the wrong tent. A witness says Karmelo replied, "Touch me and see what happens." And when Austin grabbed him, Karmelo allegedly pulled a knife.
They asked him to move, and when Austin grabbed his backpack to move, take it, he stabbed him in the chest and killed him.
He's now charged with first-degree murder.
Just because the kid was mad, my son is not here anymore, and I don't understand it.
Austin is being remembered as an honors student with aspirations to play college football. Despite the shocking loss, Austin's father says he chooses forgiveness over anger.
I forgive the other person because the forgiveness is not for him. The forgiveness is for me, so I can have peace. His life is destroyed. My life is destroyed.
The arrest affidavit says.
All right, guys, I want to unpack that very quickly as I am from that area, right? I actually have been to that jail and all of that, right? So let's unpack that because they're really spewing a different type of story, and I'm not going to make it racial on the kids level. As I see a lot of people having a lot of the different platforms in the comment section. The suspected white supremacists are thick, aren't they, guys? But I'm not going there because from what I hear, the word on the street is that these two guys were bullies. They not only bullied this kid, and I'm going to give you guys some context on that. Okay, in this part of Dallas, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is very, very powerful with money and influential. A lot of the Dallas Cowboys and NBA, NFL, the hockey players, they all live here, right? This is a money area. As you can tell, this is a black kid. There are not a lot of black kids there. So most definitely in any environment when people are outnumbered, there's going to be a mob mentality for the group that has a majority, regardless, right? Now, in this context, I'm not going to say anything racial because I hear that these two were pretty big guys. They were football stars, him and his twin, and they would picking on not just him, but other people also. And you can also tell that this black kid was puny. And for me, it's like, what led up to the point of him having a knife, right? What led up to this? Well, obviously what led up to this is that he's probably been picked on based on all the other evidence that I have found. Well, here in the state of Texas, you can legally have a knife and you can legally stand your ground. Now, they're changing the story and saying that he moved a backpack. Guys, we know that he didn't grab a dang backpack. And I send my condolences out to that family, but we're not going to lie about the case. That little kid, you can tell he's not even from that. He's not a street guy. If he was a street guy, he would have friends and they would have went up there and handled that. He could have been my little cousin. We would have went up there and handled that. Hey, that don't even fly. Let's just go ahead and get that understood. So obviously this guy is just a little guy. He probably come from a sheltered type of background. He doesn't want any problems. Right now, you're in the wrong tent. He was in the wrong for that, but that's not a reason to be attacked or assaulted. Now, and I want to know, was he the only person that was in the wrong tent too? Why he was being treated in this manner? Now, as far as the guy, he didn't grab his backpack. He actually grabbed that guy, and I don't know what they're saying on that station. Different stations, they say different things. He actually attacked this kid, and the kid stabbed him one time. Now, this is a stand your ground state in Texas, so automatically for me, that's self-defense. Now, I really hope that he beats this case. As I've said before, you can beat the case, but you can't beat the riders. I do notice that he is in jail, but Collin County has not been known to be favorable for people of the minority groups, as there are a lot of suspected white supremacists at play in Collin County, along with good people also. But these suspected white supremacists can't make this ugly for this child who already was having a hard time, and he was basically defending himself. He only stabbed him one time. It wasn't even overkill. So for me, I don't see anything. I'm not going to make it racial as far as with the kids, but I am going to make it racial as far as how the kid is being prosecuted I believe that if the shoe was on the other foot and had it been like a white kid in a predominantly black school or a mixed environment he's getting picked on, everybody would understand all of a sudden then. Okay, one of those type of things. But basically, we still see a form of systematic white supremacy happening, and this kid should not lose his life as he's already been tormented enough, and just killing somebody and you're not a killer, that's torment also. And again, I don't feel like Austin Metcalf should have lost his life either even bullying somebody. Honestly, I don't feel like he should have lost his life behind bullying anybody. I lived out there. I had somebody that tried to bully me in Plano. It's a town under Frisco, and he learned not to bully me anymore, right? But that kid is obviously not cut from that cloth. And I believe he felt it was the best thing to do at the time. Now, is it a parenting problem or a cultural problem, guys? First off, the bullying thing, it is a parenting problem. It is a parenting problem because this is not their first time being accused of bullying. And so for the parents to jump on here and make it seem like, oh, they was just a great kid. You know how your kids were. Now, they shouldn't have died for it. I agree with you on that. I mean, for being a bully, but you should have already done something. See, whatever should have happened to him, you should have done it. And then maybe this could have been avoided. You see what I'm saying? This is why I'm saying we got to discipline our kids, guys, because I agree that their kids should not be dead or anything. I'm unalived. I'm sorry. But because it's just not fair. The kids were promising he was a straight A kid. Everybody has their quirks, especially at that age. So I'm not judging them at all for being a bully. I mean, he's just a kid. I mean, he's probably not even the same person he would have been 20 years from now. So I'm not even holding nothing. I send my condolences out to that family. Now, as far as on the other side, what did the family of the black kid do, Karmelo Anthony? What did you guys do to try to protect your child also in this situation? Because I'm sure it's not the first time. And for him to take a knife, I don't necessarily know if that should have been the action that should have been taken in a tent. Maybe if you're walking down an alley, but I don't know what type of advice this kid was given, which is why I'm going to go into the parenting thing. And also, you should have went up there and addressed them children yourself. If I was the parents, I'm sorry. Like my kids, I'm going to have to come see you. I'm going to have to come see you, Jack, about mine. You know what I'm saying? So, that right there. Now, let's get into the cultural side of it. There's only so much that a parent can do, right? There's only so much that a parent can do. You can teach these little heathens, you can teach them everything they need to know, and they'll go out and still be influenced by their friends, by the music, by the stuff that they see on TV. And so I would like to say, from my perspective, that culture usually at this point in time, because we have taught our children to be so weak-minded and to not be able to understand the deception and chattel that comes with this world of smoke and mirrors, that they are easily susceptible to what's going on around them. And it's not even their fault, right? It's just like the movie The Matrix. They're caught in the Matrix and they don't even know that they're in the Matrix and that they're being controlled and manipulated and maneuvered and all of this. And it is our job as parents to protect them. So to sum it all up for me, guys, the problem falls on everybody. It takes a village to raise a child. And it definitely, the first teachers start at home with the parenting. So we definitely need to probably go back to having some type of philosophy. I don't want to say religion, because religion can be a philosophy, but not all philosophies necessarily have to be a religion, right? So we need to have a philosophy so that we can teach our children, and we have something to stand on when we're dealing with these situations. They also have a moral ruler to measure their actions or based on what's right and what's wrong, and have regardless if they still do it or not, at least they know it's right or it's wrong. And usually I believe that helps us to, even that once we go through our reckless stages, that we can come back to reality, because that has already been presented and we've experimented with enough trial and error to understand why our parents taught us this, right? So let's definitely adopt positive philosophies to give to our children. Let's also not skip on the discipline, because I believe in the Bible it says, spare the rod, spoil the child, right? So what that means is that if you don't discipline your child, they're going to grow up to be a rotten, stinky person, right? And nobody wants that. You don't want a forever child leeching on you and bringing problems into your world, right? That's my take on that, guys. These children are pretty much out of control. I think we all have a part to play in it. So leave your thoughts and opinions on this subject in my comment section. Please take the time to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Again, I am Twaun X, and this is the Double Take Podcast, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.